Hello, everyone. This is Dave with Moonride, where we're channeling the moon. And
Lena Rodriguez, g'day from Tarot Down Under.
here we are together in Sydney doing this video for you. I'm going to be channeling, and Lena's going to be asking most of the questions until the end. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I've got a longer list, but we had to keep it to, just a couple here. So, Dave and I have talked before about Trump's honeymoon with the economy, that, things aren't really going to shift till the economy does a bit of a nosedive, which is a bit scary for people. We'll talk about that. But I wanted to ask Dave now, what are the other turning points that you see for his presidency outside of the stock market?
I keep getting June, maybe June of next year. I don't know what's going on in June, maybe June 9th, something will happen. There are geopolitical things that are happening. I see ships. It looks like it could even be Strait of Hormuz. I see ships. I think that, and they look like American military ships. I think that there's going to be maybe even an attack on the American military in the Sea of Hormuz. I don't know when that is. I'm seeing something similar. I know that it may well have been a setup by Pompeo, but I'm seeing like a similar scenario with a small group of people placing bombs on the ship. Yeah, and this is some serious stuff. It's not like a couple of people. It's a lot of people pass away. A lot of people die. And now Trump is completely stumped on what to do. He does not have any real diplomatic abilities. He doesn't have diplomatic, it's not a situation where you can work your diplomacy. North Korea is also going to cause a lot of problems in the future. They're going to be pushing their agenda a little bit more. North Korea is also working together now with China and Russia. So they're really pushing South Korea and other Asian nations. They're intimidating them. Again, Trump has no ability to do anything. So this is causing a lot of political problems within the United States, because even conservatives see that our power is not being used. It's sort of fleeting. The other nations are taking over. The other thing is that he is actually frustrating so many people in his domain. So, Pompeo seems to be getting angry and leaving. It's just he's so incompetent, actually, that people are walking out. They're just saying, I cannot do this job anymore. You're making a fool out of me, and also I don't believe in what you're doing. So I think there's a lot of, especially Pompeo comes up as being very frustrated by what Trump does. Yeah, keep in mind that Trump has really lost his focus. He's caused America to lose their focus on a lot of arenas. If we do go to war or anything like that, we want people to back us up. The Europeans are not going to back us up now. They don't really trust us. That's one thing. Is there anything else, Spirit? Any other things that are going to be Trump's?
Anything on climate change?
It's funny because I see Trump breaking a bunch of pencils. It's like breaking pencils in half. And it's almost like the pencil pushers, all the smart people, all the scientists, he's breaking their pencils in half so they can't write anymore. I think that actually will have an effect upon him. And Spirit, is there going to be weather changes in the next year? It's not clear what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like a break in the clouds. I don't know if that's like a tornado or hurricane. It kind of feels like Tornado Alley. It's just like that's the kind of feeling I got as Tornado Alley. I do see tornadoes now. Is that just because I'm speaking about it, or is that there's some other image? It feels like it's a lot of places in the South are having some just natural environmental problems, sea rise. This might happen pretty quickly, actually. Yeah.
I think also the majority of the world really doesn't care if the Marshall Islands are sinking or Tuvalu, right? But you look at any image of Manhattan and it's 0 above sea level, and all the rail systems underground, the transport systems underground. It's not until something dramatic happens, I think, in Florida or Manhattan, which is a little tiny island. It's just got a big personality, but it's a little fragile island. And sometimes I think it needs these dramatic examples to make people move and to think and to really take it seriously.
Well, this island is an economic center of the United States. I think one issue is that the economic center has moved more towards Silicon Valley. And that is one of the problems. But if you cannot have your bank on this island because it's underwater, where do you put your banking? And I think that people will literally start moving their money either to other countries or other places in the United States. And it's pretty dramatic. These are some of the most powerful people in the world that are going to have to lose everything, all of their money. They're not going to sit quietly while they're doing that.
Yeah, and it might have to get to that stage before we see real action. Okay, I've got another question for you. If you could ask the advice from Spirit, what should the Dems focus on? What should they really, really, really focus on for 2028?
Okay, and I'd like to do this in 2 parts. I'll do one for candidates and one just for the average person. So let's try candidates. It's funny because I'm saying like Hillary Clinton in reverse. Okay, if you want to look at failure, look at what Hillary Clinton did. Everything that she did was wrong. That's not like she's a bad person. I have no moral judgment upon her. But all those things that she represented, being a centrist, did not really work. Not really having any ideas, being mealy-mouthed, equivocating, having good, fairly significant ethical concerns. A lot of people just didn't like Hillary Clinton because she didn't leave her husband. It felt to them like she was there for the power, nothing else. They just didn't like that about her. I think some of it was nonsense, but that's just the general mood of it's another politician willing to give up their humanity just for power. So, they need Dems need good slogans. They need good messages. They need things that show change. The idea that you can now have this centrist, that's just not going to work anymore. Maybe they could have some centrist policies, but they need to be very articulate about where they're going. Don't do what Hillary did. It's almost the polar opposite of Hillary. That's what I get. Hillary on one side, you on the other.
That's interesting.
Yes, isn't it? Again, it's like she didn't really have any slogan that anybody remembered. There was no meaning behind it. And Elizabeth Warren could come up with something like that. So could a Bernie. But and a lot of all those people could. One thing that I find very interesting is all of the Democratic candidates sort of represent a different important thing. I wish they could just come together in one person. You've got, Harris, who's really assertive. You've got some people who are about the environment. You've got, Buttigieg, the gay and lesbian, vote there. The, transgender vote. All that stuff is in one kind of person. If only they could come together under one umbrella. And that is what they need to do. Find a way where their platform includes all of those things and be somewhat forceful about it. They also really need to get out the vote. These issues are youthful, and if you put the youthful issues ahead of time, it will bring the youth out to vote. And that is what we need to do. The regular person, regular viewer is, as much as you can, go to college campuses and talk to students on a week before voting and say, hey, look, you're going to vote. Are you registered? Here it is. We also have to get to a place where we are demanding that our local governments include everybody in their, that everybody has a chance to vote. All those Native American people in North Dakota were disenfranchised weeks before. We have to go there and just pound and pound and pound on the local governments to make sure that they put polling places in the right place. We have to, film it when they fail, like film the action when it doesn't work. We have to be incredibly diligent. Spirit, what else? Is there anything else that the active, the regular person can do? Again, try to include everybody in your circle. Show everybody how it's going to be better for them. It can't just be like, well, this would be better for Group A. It has to be policies that will benefit all people. So, for example, if you want to give better employment to women, have some kind of an employment plan and say, this is going to be good for women, this is going to be good for coal miners, this is going to be good for everybody, this is sort of neutral and beneficial to all. And that's very much where we have to go. Sort of a broader field, if you will.
And I've got a slogan for the Democrats.
Yeah?
Anybody listening out there who has any power and influence, stop corporate welfare.
Yeah,
that's one of,
that's a good one.
We're always told this thing about not enough money, let's cut the kids' lunches and these tiny programs that are really hands-on and working. And yet we, in Australia too, subsidise the coal industry, we subsidise the car industry, we subsidise the aluminium industry. We, the taxpayer, subsidise for hundreds of millions of dollars, but we can't find the money for some youth diversionary program somewhere. It's part of this mythology of last stage capitalism.
Yes.
That people will hopefully see that the money is there, it's just being spent by the wrong people in the wrong places.
One thing that I think the Democrats did show when they were asking Mueller those questions is they did get no one is above the law. And that was somewhat closer to where we need to be. If the objective is just to get rid of Trump, if that's the one thing that unites us, the slogan, no one is above the law, I think that appeals to, people who are sort of in the center who are like, well, I'm not progressive, but no one is above the law as Trump moves forward and shows his vileness.
And the Epstein experience too, because it's a great slogan because people get it and feel it should be true. But as the Irish used to say, rich men don't hang, right? And we've accepted the untruth of that.
Yes.
We tell each generation no one's above the law, but we let them get away with it again.
Right.
So to say it with conviction and actually follow that through, I think that's a great slogan.
Yeah,
no one is above the law.
Again, another positive out of that experience was at least the Democrats were finally asking questions that I wanted them to ask. Yes. It took them a while.
Yeah.
But at least they are.
And that's something I want to say to my regular intrepid viewers too. I heard from many of you that the first half of Mueller's testimony, which is what I saw, wasn't marvellous. There's no way we could pretend it was. But the afternoon session was great and he was much more assertive and much more on the ball and a bit more combative. And so more power to your elbow, Mueller.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was next?
My turn, I think.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of questions.
2 questions. The first question is about money. I'm, very concerned about our economic situation. And so I think the question would be, basically, where should we put our money?
Okay, so on a personal, domestic level, we're talking how...
What should I do about money? Because some people don't necessarily have money to invest. They just...
Exactly. And some people don't have money at all.
Yeah.
So, let's look at what people should do with their money. Let's have a look. What should people do? Right, come on down, guys. Oh, that's nice.
Not a bad card.
Yeah, it's going okay. Judgment. All right. Now with this, the lover's card is in the centre, which is kind of unusual. We're talking about money. So on top is good ideas for initiating money on an individual basis, because we're talking domestically here. We're not talking about what Jeff Bezos should do with his money. We're talking about you and me, and in some cases it's just managing debt as opposed to managing money. But there are opportunities, and this is, I guess, the upside of the gig economy. There are opportunities to make money for yourself, but in conjunction with other people. So to have the Lover's card there in the centre of an economic reading is also saying to me things like cooperatives, old-fashioned co-ops, so you might work one day a week voluntarily in your organic fruit and veg co-op, and you get your box of veggies for the week for doing that, or whatever, just a variation on that. So cooperation and creative ideas together. So those are very important. That's backed up by the Two of Wands here, which is, this is the figure, it's very like the Three of Wands, the figure looking out over the water. This is trade too, but the figure has the world in their hands. And again, this is an upside of just how we are working now, in different parts of the world, and talking to you guys. We now have that opportunity. So if you can come up with the creative idea, if you can find decent, ethical people to work with, it's a very positive climate for that, to be slightly outside the mainstream. Now, this is the Six of Wands, which is the messenger card. This is can be the new leader card too. So this could be someone who represents, what I'm hearing is, it's a bit of a joke because I mentioned Bezos. Is he Amazon, or what's he? What is
Bezos? He is Amazon.
Where workers are paid a pittance and not allowed to go to the bathroom without putting their hands up like 5-year-olds and stuff. This could be someone representing a very new and different way of working. And I think this is really important. People have a right to a dignified workplace. You should not have to beg and grovel to your employer for really basic conditions. And this is someone, I heard Buttigieg, but I don't see him specifically in this role, but that's what I heard. Someone with fresh ideas. It could also be AOC. Now, remember when AOC said she fought for Amazon not to open up in New York, and she was almost skinned alive for that. That's 25,000 jobs. But you know what? They were 25,000 shit jobs. The world actually doesn't need 25,000 bad jobs. All he's doing is using people until he can use robots.
Right.
That's his aim. Okay, so we need someone who is powerful and inspiring to come up with this other way of making money and managing money and almost sharing money. I'm hearing sharing money. And we've become so individualistic. We've become so materialistic. And yet there is this alternative economy being spoken about. There's a genuine, like the old barter system, in the
we might even be an example,
we
right?
Sort of
working together.
And I was in Greece twice in the last 10 years, and through their dreadful economic situation and stuff. And it's almost fully in the barter system. So if I'm a hairdresser, I will do your sister's wedding, I'll do the 14 bridesmaids, I will do the hair, and you're a mechanic, so you're going to find me the car that I can afford. And so informal economy is the message that I'm hearing. And that instead of just being a Deliveroo driver, and if you get splattered by a car, no one's going to protect you, by dressing it up saying you're a small business owner does not save that situation. We need new thinking, really new, fresh thinking. This is my Wake Up America card. Do I need to explain a thing?
Yeah.
This is, you are being called.
Yeah.
You are being called. And it should be a privilege to be called out of the death throes. Ooh,
It's good. It's good.
It's
It
okay.
Just, yeah, screen just goes.
Sorry, I'm looking at a black screen. It's a bit disconcerting here.
Right.
We'll just fill in until the picture comes back.
There
Oh,
you go.
hi. Hopefully you didn't notice any of that.
No, you didn't notice.
So if we don't get with the program, if we don't get more creative and supportive of each other, I can't stress this enough, it's coming through really strongly. Support people where you can. Where money is spent judiciously, it can really help someone. It's not about big sums of money, it's about using money for good things, and generosity gets rewarded karmically, I think. So it is the judgment card, but it's being summoned. And so this is the call. We are all being called to really revisit this picture. You know?
Great. That sounds great. Well, look, on that note, I think we can stop. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
See you soon.